WrestleMania. All right, I've already had one full Nelson put on me tonight by Billy Jack, and I'm going to get another one if I don't turn here. I could just feel the heat from behind. Kathy, re-identify yourself to our audience, please.
I'm Kathy Rosini, and I promote the World Wrestling Federation.
Okay, now why have you just been hollering at me back here?
Because I can't stay quiet. I would like to sum up what everybody is talking about. Basically, there are three groups of people. There are the professional wrestling fans. They don't care about what you're talking about. Is this real? Is this all this other stuff? They don't care. There is also the fan, or the non-fan, and they could care less. Then there is that group of people that are somewhat interested in professional wrestling, and they're trying to categorize it, legitimize it, put it into some category that they can understand. They're trying to make a serious sporting event, such as, not that it's not serious, but such as football, baseball, and all of that. That's where they have the difficulty. And bottom line, it's not what is, let's say, how can I phrase this? It's not in trying to draw up what is wrong with pro wrestling, but what is right with pro wrestling.
All right, now one thing I've got to put to you here, because it's been raised here, and that is the violence. What we have seen here in every scene is violence. Thump, bang, boom,
right.
Crashing.
Right.
Is that going to encourage aggressive behavior, particularly in kids?
Oh.
What's your view on that? Is it too violent?
Okay,
we saw blood dripping.
My feeling is all of us are born with a certain amount of our nature that is quote-unquote violent. Some more so than others. Some are very low-key and quiet. But all of us has it to some degree, although it's not socially acceptable for us to display the violent side of our nature. And as we get, at this time, in the 80s, we have lots of stresses and pressures that they didn't have in the 40s and 50s. So that's why this thing is so popular. We are able to get it all out. We have it, we just have managed to suppress it. And there will always be violence as long as there are humans.
Now, is there somebody here who, let's get the flip side, Town Hall, or somebody who disagrees, says it is too violent? Do we have people who say it is too violent? Right there, let's go back and see somebody who hasn't spoken, who thinks it is too violent. Well, it doesn't look like there's much of a vote here for violence, is there? But let's see. Okay, back to you, Mean Mike.
Face this, okay? I've got a 4-year-old daughter at home, and I've just been blessed with a baby boy Monday. And James Michael, I want to congratulate my wife Sutton. She did a heck of a job. But my baby girl, she's 4 years old. I come in, I wrestle around the floor with her. You know, she comes, she keeps on telling me she's gonna drop a knee on me, or she's, you know, she's playing with me all the time. But I see her playing with me, and then she has her little friends come over, and she can stop playing with me or whatever real rough, and she'll go right back in, play with her little dolls, play the little house game, play everything like that. She's not a violent person. She's a very smart child, and I'm telling you, she watches her daddy every Saturday night, and she loves it, you know, and all I face to her is to stand up for her rights.
Right there.
Yeah, I think it's gotten too violent. I can remember back when Ron Starr was crippled for life, and at that point, something should have been done, and the buck gets passed. It goes to the referee. Referee should do something. Referee doesn't. Well, yeah, I can't. It's the promoter. Promoter says, oh, no, it's the commissioner, and the commissioner says, oh, no, take it back again. And, of course, every time the buck goes around, it gets some more friends. Fans are included in that. I've gone to matches where I've gotten thoroughly disgusted because I've seen a really good professional wrestling match that is scientific. And what do I hear behind me? Boring. It's not boring if you watch what's going on. They are finely tuned men who are participating in a sport it has taken years for them to train to do.
What about the bleeding? Would you identify yourself, please?
I'm Bruce Anderson. I'm the director of the Oregon State Boxing and Wrestling Commission.
Now, one thing we hear is that sometimes the use of razor blades to produce blood. Is that in your view?
I've never seen that, but we don't allow it.
You never see it, but you don't allow it. I see. All right. That's right there. Back to you, sir. Go ahead.
John Adler, a psychologist. This isn't just a simple equation. You know, you watch wrestling, you'll be violent. I mean, that's not what we're trying to say. And what you've heard from a lot of people, the wrestlers, the parents, is that these are role models along with ice hockey players. You know, people go there to watch a fight. A lot of other professional athletes, whether it's real, whether it's not, You know, they're role models to people, especially young kids. And we get information from a variety of sources. So you can't predict simply in that kind of a way, but it is one source when it's consistent with a lot of other messages that parents may give their kids, that role models may give their kids, that you solve problems by being aggressive. You're likely to see that. The research does not show that this is catharsis, that kids tend to
You're saying that it
reduce
is
their
an outlet.
aggression.
You're saying that it's something that they may copy.
It may be an outlet for some folks, but the research tends to disprove that and prove that it's more likely, particularly if all the messages are consistent, that kids may watch violence and be
Right
violent.
there, you sir, you haven't spoken.
My name's Greg Matthews. I'm a police officer. As far as all this stuff about, you know, a role model and sort of thing, sure, you know, they are a role model. It's like a fitness type of deal. This is the 80s. These guys are tremendous athletes and things like that, okay? But people watch, you know, you could sit your kid in front of a religious TV show, and then find out later, and I'm not going to say a name because of the sensitivity of the issue. But all I'm saying is that could be the perfect role model for somebody's family, and then all of a sudden they find out later on in the years that this guy does this. Well, now what happens? So, you know, are you going to limit your kids to what they can watch, even though it's a sport just like anything else?
Right there, you ma'am.
Hi, I'm Gloria Cornejo, and I was just referring back to the razor blades. They said that they weren't allowed. Well, I'd like to know why they wear the tape around their fingers and stuff.
Why do you do that, Billy Jack? Why? Why the tape?
Well, I personally don't unless I got a broken finger. You know, and I've had, as you can see by my fingers, where's the camera?
Yeah. Billy Jack, I'm
I've
going to
had
ask
quite
you
a
this.
few.
I'm going to ask you this. What kind of a person goes into wrestling? What's your background? How did you get into it?
I was a amateur boxer, you know, and
Must have been a heavyweight.
I wanted to be a professional boxer. Had a few bad breaks in my life, and you know, was down in the dumps, like I said. I'm not trying to make anybody feel sorry for me. That's just the way it was. And I was fortunate at 28 years old to get into professional wrestling. But as far as I gotta make a comment on what this gentleman was saying over here. Once again, like the amateur wrestlers, I respect you and I respect you, but you're on a completely different subject. You're talking about program. What about Halloween 1, 2, 3, 4?
Well, I think
we're
what
talking.
he's saying is that you're part of that message. He said where the message is consistent. I think I have his
Well,
point
no,
correct.
I understand what he's saying, but I think he's just on the. I think he's out in left field and it's a bunt.
It's a butt. Right there, you sir.
I'm Mark Kaplan, the president of the newly formed Oregon-Washington Wrestling Federation. I work with Billy. First of all, I think the kids could do a lot worse than a role model like Billy Jack Haynes. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. He's a heck of an athlete. He's an excellent role model. Secondly, in regard to the violence of the sport, she must feel that hockey, boxing, pro football are all extremely violent or too violent for the kids. Very good. That's very true.
You're a promoter. I've got a question for you. We hear there's lots of money in this. What kind of money is
I'm
there?
technically not a promoter. I'm the president of this federation.
Well, if you're a president of the federation, you should be able to. What kind of money is in it? Right there, back there, you sir.
My name is Ivan Kafoury. I own Spartan Media, and we used to televise Capital Wrestling in Salem. And I own the show, and I can tell you what we did financially was very well. I have a letter from Tom Peterson that I use in my selling kit that said, Tom said, wrestling is the greatest advertising vehicle he's ever used in his advertising in Oregon in 20 years. And I'm talking about Saturday Night Wrestling on Channel 12, which is probably the biggest moneymaker on Channel 12. So wrestling is a financial bonanza for people that are tied in, you know, as advertisers or people that are in the production
Well,
or
let's
whatever.
swing it into the people in the ring. Tough Tony Borne, back to you. Tony, what kind of a living is wrestling? What kind of money is made?
Well, I was born 30 years too soon due to the exposure that we get from cable television now, where a guy can wrestle maybe in New York tonight and he's seen all over the world. He's popular every place. Me, I'd wrestle here in Portland and the people in the Northwest would see me. If I'd wrestle in Texas, just the people in Texas. So I didn't have the exposure that the guys get now. My boy makes as much in 1 week. I had to work 2 months to make what he makes in 1 week.
How often do they wrestle? I mean, Mike, how often do you wrestle?
Sometimes 6, 7 nights a
250
week.
nights out of the year.
How much traveling involved, Billy Jack?
Well, when I was in the World Wrestling Federation, I was traveling, you know, 6, 7 days a week from New York one day, L.A. the next, L.A. to Montreal. But we're talking 15, 20,000 people per match, so the pay was very well.
But you earn it. Right back there, you sir.
Yeah, my name's Ted Finley, I'm a fan wrestler. You know, there's cons and pros to everything, and I'm a non-drinker, so instead of going to taverns, I go watch wrestling. And to watch Billy Jack, you know, beat the crap out of somebody, it's great. It's a lot better than going somewhere, you know, and having a fight. I mean, that's what I go for. I go there to get my aggressions out, to, you know, yell at everybody to get feedback.
Okay, time is running down. We've got some time left. Let's throw it open. Maybe questions for the wrestlers. Right there, you, sir, in the Notre Dame shirt.
You bet. I'm Brad Rheingans from Portland, and I've been sitting here listening to this, and you know, you can look at the Mean Man, you can look at Billy Jack. This guy, he's a wrestler. They're built, they're big. You can tell this isn't fake. This isn't any game they're playing out here. You want to look at a game? Let's look at the Portland Trailblazers. Let's look at Kiki Vandeweghe.
We're not going to get in that battle tonight. We're not going to
we need someone
take somebody down. Right there, you, young man. Go ahead, fire away.
Jeff Dunlop. And what happened to your ear, Tony?
What's what happened to your ear?
Well, I could say I got it answering telephones at my real estate office, but that's what you call a cauliflower ear, and it comes from just punches and bruises where the tissue is separated and blood comes in there.
There's one in the back with holding your hand up. Right there, you, Minnie Mouse shirt.
Okay. Billy Jack, what do you think of amateur wrestling?
Billy Jack, what do you think of amateur wrestling? I think you can do that.
Well, I'm very impressed with it. They're tremendous athletes, and you know, the Olympic Games, whatever Brad's won, these people, I respect you very much.
Right there.
I want to know, you know, the WWF is great, you know, it's fine. But when they come to Portland, they always rip us off on a key match. Those tickets aren't cheap for the Portland people.
What do you mean they always rip you off?
They take the best match and they just, bang, it's gone. You don't get it. You get everything else, you get it, and they don't tell you until they're halfway through their matches to begin with.
You want to give a quick response to that because time is running out. Kathy, real quick.
You'll be very happy with it.
Real quick.
The last time we had a match, One Man Gang was not able to wrestle. One Man Gang, or was it the other? Bam Bam. I do so many. Bam Bam Bigelow, he had damaged his knee one day before. We announced it at the beginning, gave you until the end of the first match to redeem your tickets.
Okay, that's good enough. In other words, you're saying it's a bad rap. Way in the back in the green shirt. Just say no.
I have a question for Billy Jack.
Fire away.
Why did you quit WWF?
Why'd you quit WWF?
Okay, real quick and a wrap up. I just got my promoter's license last week. The Oregon Washington Wrestling Federation will be opening here down the road in about a month and a half. We'll also have a wrestling camp. I love you all very much, and I quit. I was tired of travel.
Go ahead and give your plug. You came on here, you've got an organization.
Great organization.
But you've got your own organization now, Billy Jack. What's the name of your organization?
Oregon Washington Wrestling Federation.
When do you start?
Month and a half away.
Where?
We'll be in Oregon City, where the skate center is now. It's being formed into a mini coliseum.
Okay, gotcha. Now we have to go off. Now, I guess the question is, we've asked tonight, is it real? Well, yes, it is real. Nobody's giving you a horse with false teeth. They're giving you what you see is there. You pay for what you get what you pay for. You come there, what is it? It's whatever it is to you when you go in there. That's what wrestling is today. Thank you for tuning into Town Hall. Thank both of you for coming, and good night.
Next week on Town Hall, join Jack Faust and his guests for a provocative discussion of what is sexy.